that kind of stuff, when you demonstrate sort of your disappointment with calls, that stuff adds up and can perhaps influence an official one way or the other.
That's a statement, not a question.
What do you... He said the lesson was from you, so can you elaborate on that lesson for him?
Okay, this is last year's...
The fourth foul, the technical.
Okay.
When the Cahill saw it, Greg said something.
Okay. I literally, okay. So what's the lesson in that?
What was the lesson in that for Greg? Is what he said there was a lesson in there that you had
Helped him
Did he
realize.
tell you what it was?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Well, he said it was that when you demonstrate your disappointment with calls, sometimes it adds up.
That's a cumulative effect.
Yeah, and that's nothing that's not something enlightening. I mean, officials are people, and whether it's a coach, whether it's a player, in many circumstances, I'll get in trouble for saying this, but if you're in a hostile arena, if they're getting yelled at, if you're making gyrations at them, they are people too, and it is not out of the question for people to get upset and try to get you back.
Right.
Am I getting fined for saying that? Shaq?
I don't think so.
Shaq? Go get Shaq. But I mean, I think the lesson learned. The lesson learned is you have to keep your cool. The lesson learned is officials are going to make mistakes, just like we all do. And when there's a call that you don't feel was accurate, there's no need to make faces, gyrations, comments. Just keep playing. Just put your head down and keep playing. It's in the past. You can't control it. Just keep playing.
That said, was that episode ever resolved or explained? In other words, did you ever hear from a Hoya booster who said, "I just want you to know that was me, I'm sorry"?
No.
No one ever came forward and said?
No.
Just a mystery voice from someone.
It's been a great series, a great history. We're looking forward to the next game.
I don't think too much needs to be made of that call.
Well,
And at the end of the day, they outplayed us. That call, whether Greg was in there or not.
Interesting, the timing of this Duke series, coming to the middle of the conference season. And I'm assuming you deliberately did that when you scheduled with them. No, I mean just
Television dictates.
Really?
This conference series. In my perfect world, once the Big East starts, we're just playing Big East games.
And even before that, you were saying before when you played when you went out west for those games and everything, you played Butler as well, that was preparing them for Big East play, and it really isn't a breather at all.
No, not at all. And that would be the case regardless of this game. That clearly we're playing, a top 10 team. But with the nature of the Big East this year, last year, even without a non-conference opponent, every week you're going to play a top 10 team. And so just throwing them in the mix just heightens that, makes the schedule that much more difficult. But that's part of the excitement. That's part of the reason why we do this job. That's part of the reason why the kids play.
How long is your contract with Duke? Is it up now, or
yes.
Do you plan to renew it? Okay.
I'm not sure. We haven't had those discussions yet.
How do the players handle this season? I mean, obviously you see the record. They played well. They've been up to every challenge, whoever they played inside and outside the conference. But a couple of them mentioned just now, it's like the Syracuse game may have been the first time they've really experienced anything close to real, like mental fatigue or a letdown or anything like that after they.
Who said that? Who said that? Oh, no comment. Y'all can't tell me who said that shit. Cooperate with me while I'm not cooperate with you. Next question.
Well, along the lines, I guess, of learning the lesson from, this team has gotten mentally stronger. So things like that last year's incident, which kind of may or may not have kind of turned things at Duke. I mean, this team seems determined to not let Monday turn into last year, where the Duke loss started on sort of a precipitous slide.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that. That's not to say we're not going to lose games. But this year's team, I remember Chris saying this a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure who he was talking to, but he said this team is not last year's team. It's much different in every way, shape, or form. Monday was not mental fatigue. They just beat us. It's as simple as that. It's no need to start talking mental or physical fatigue. We played one of our worst games of the year. They played well. They just beat us. That happens sometimes.
you talk about Duke's defensive schemes and the offensive opportunities you may be able to get out of it?
I'm still trying to figure out where we're going to get our offensive opportunities out of them. They do what they do. They're an aggressive, overplaying team, which they try to take you. They try not to let you run an offense. And so that they've been doing that for years. They're very successful with doing that. And so we just have to be strong with the ball. It's the same thing with us that I've said almost before every game. It's much different relative to them. But, we don't want to have turnovers, which will lead to transition baskets for them. If we can protect the ball, if we can get a good shot, then we'll be okay.
Facing that, does the bench's importance grow? Facing that kind of pressure?
The bench's importance is the same in every game. I think our guys are used to what we're doing and how we're doing it. So the bench's importance grow. If they play well, it does. If they play poorly, it doesn't. So I think we're in the same boat every week, every game rather.
Your team had made a lot of progress in reducing the turnovers as the season unfolded.
Have not? I thought we had.
They had.
Oh, okay. I thought you had not.
But so it was a preamble. So when you look at the Syracuse game on tape, how much of those 19 were to Syracuse's credit, or are things that your guys can really do better?
Both. You have to give them credit. They play a zone unlike any team in the country, and there's just no room. They might be the biggest team in the country. The front of that zone is 6'5", 6'6", and then they got the big fellas in the back, and so there's very little room. And so when we play them again, we have to do a much better job. But they are terrific at what they do, and like I said, we had an off night. We didn't play well.
So have you said anything specific or addressed specifically, like, hey guys, we need to move on from the Syracuse game, or is it kind of unspoken at this point that, we need to move on, we can't let this, bother us, further into the season?
I don't remember whether I said anything specific or not. I probably have. But that, like I said, it's not that big a deal. After the Pitt game, we said we got to move on. It's the same. It's whether it's a win or it's a loss. You cannot get. I've said this to you guys, and most of the stuff I say to you, I've said to them. We can't get stuck in the past, positive or negative.
Nolan Smith has seen you play for a long time.
He's developed as one would think. Nolan is one of the better perimeter players in the country. Nolan's fun to watch because he does so much at both ends of the floor. He does everything at his pace. You can't deter him from getting to where he wants to be. And he somewhat switched up roles with him last year. Last year he had the ball in his hands most of the time. This year they've taken him off the ball and he's been much more aggressive in trying to get his points successfully. So I think Nolan he was terrific all through high school and coming out of high school, and he's made a progression in college. I think he's terrific.
Does he remind you of his father at all? Different players? Different. The demeanor may be the same, but no, I would say that. But I'm not sure.
Forgive my ignorance on this. Scheduling is not my forte.
I don't know if anyone scheduling is their forte.
But you and Duke would have agreed to play each other, and then TV finds out and says, "Hey, you played at this day, so we can televise it." How did it come about?
We agreed to a 4-year contract. We played 2, had 1 year off in the middle, we played 2 more.
Right.
All the games were going to be on CBS, and then they give us the dates that are available.
Oh, really? Okay. So part of the deal was that CBS would televise games. Okay.
Even if this is the last game of the series, do you think it's become kind of a budding rivalry? The program didn't have that much history with Duke before you got here, but after upset in 2006...
No, that's not true. They played Duke. I want to say the previous... You can go back and look it up. I'm not sure.
I think there was 1 or 2 games before in recent times.
I Sweetney play against them a couple times.
Yeah. But now you got Rivalry there sold out. You got everyone's handing out T-shirts for this game. Are they as big as a Syracuse or Villanova, or you just think it's too hard to get there?
No, they're not our league.
Yeah.
And don't write that the wrong way. They are a terrific program. It's been a great rivalry. It's been a great series for us, both the good and the bad. But at the end of the day, our Big East games this time of year are more important. That's not to say this is not an important game. That's not to say we're not excited. That's not to say our fans aren't excited. That's not to say their team isn't excited about this. But at the end of the day, regardless of what happens on Saturday, we're going to have to come back and be prepared for South Florida.
here. I mean, you see them